1 in 4 women is affected by domestic violence, and the aftermath impacts all of us. We'll talk about how Domestic Violence Awareness Month is getting people talking.
The nights are getting colder, but things heated up in White Bear Lake as firefighters got down to business.
And what began as a donut shop has ended in a well-oiled operation. We'll have these stories and more coming up on Lake Area Beat. I'm Tracy Minarchuk.
And I'm Kurt Friesen. We're staying outdoors as long as we can before, well, I don't need to say it.
Don't say it.
You know what's coming.
Yeah, that's right. We're here at Mataska Park for this edition of Lake Area Beat. And I can't believe how fast the summer has gone. I feel like it just started.
Yeah.
We've been so busy.
It's been a busy summer, whether it's work, community events, vacations for everyone.
Yep.
I think everyone agrees that our summer season is short and we have to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Alzheimer's is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States.
It's a sad disease to watch and experience, and there's no cure. But a local event planning company held a fair in White Bear Lake, donating part of the proceeds to research.
Art to Remember seems a fitting name for a disease crippling people's memories. Affecting 5.8 million Americans, Alzheimer's is a disorder that seems to touch everyone in some way.
It hurts to watch a loved one become a blank slate.
Local event planning company Sky's the Limit is raising money for Alzheimer's research at Art to Remember, to be held at Rudy's Red Eye Grill Event Center in White Bear Lake.
The back wall ones will be all our vendors that need back walls in order.
Co-founder Jana Llanos talked with us ahead of Art to Remember, stacked with local vendors and artists, all of whom have been affected by Alzheimer's, including Llanos, who lost her father 7 years ago to the disease.
Some of those people that told me their personal stories was very emotional for them. And because they've never told anybody, an outsider, it's always been family. And I am an outsider, they don't know me. But, I share their pain because I've had it happen in my family.
Llanos says the all-day benefit will include art, swag bags, and a silent auction.
We've got some very expensive paintings that they're original artists that have donated.
Hoping the proceeds raised will help make a difference.
So if you can only afford $5 or $1, every dollar counts towards the research and to helping maybe find a cure.
Nearly 35% of police calls are domestic disputes, affecting 1 in 4 women in Minnesota. In recognition of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, Tamara Stark from Tubman is here to talk about their services. Tamara, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been with Tubman?
Sure. So I'm a passionate and tenacious person. I, see challenges as opportunities to always do better, so I don't let them get me down. I've been with Tubman in a variety of roles for a little over 20 years. Yeah, and so seeing a lot of changes, and I think I've seen positive transformation happen, and I feel lucky that I believe in the inherent good of all people.
That's great.
After 20 years, that is remarkable.
Can you tell us a little bit about what domestic violence is?
Sure. So domestic violence is relationship abuse. It's intentional harm to another. It can take many forms: physical, sexual, emotional, verbal, psychological. It can also include depriving someone of access to basic resources to survive. It impacts all ages, all backgrounds, and all genders.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you see as far as who it's affecting?
Yeah, sadly, we see it impact everyone. We all sadly know someone who's been impacted by domestic violence. So I think that's where all the solutions lie too, is how we can all play a part in doing better and overcoming the challenges with it.
And what is Tubman's mission, and maybe what are some of the services that Tubman provides? Sure. I know it's many.
Yeah, so I'll do a little broad brushstroke with that. It's our mission is to advance opportunities for change so that every person can experience safety, hope, and healing. So our services cover a range of prevention, intervention, outreach, and leadership to advance our mission. We do that by having housing, shelter, community-based services, legal assistance, counseling to address mental health, substance abuse challenges, and then involving people we serve also in leading change. We have great many partners. You can find us at Maplewood Mall doing outreach. We're in the courts, in the schools, in homes.
Is there anything specific or anything different that you do for Domestic Violence Awareness Month?
Sure. So it's a great question because I think for us, that's every day, right? And it's a great time also during the month to engage more people in the cause that we charge forward to improve in our communities so that we don't have domestic violence. It's sadly still so prevalent. So awareness building, we're running a Hopetober campaign to share relevant facts with the community. Also as a fundraiser, we engage people we serve in facts and their leadership, what they want to see different, also creative healing arts events and public awareness campaigns.
Now, how can somebody, if they're watching, how can they maybe get involved, or what can they do to help or raise awareness?
Well, like I said, you don't need to be an expert in this. This could be your first time hearing about domestic violence, and you can still find a way to help. So volunteering, checking our website, certainly getting in touch with us about something you're seeing in your communities and connecting with resources. So there's so many ways.
And do you accept volunteers to come and maybe do what you do, or do you post, are they jobs, or what kind of?
Sure. So there's both, we have specific job descriptions for people who are interested in volunteering. And I always think everyone has a special gift to share. And so we have a job description to match.
Wonderful. And then why do you do this? So you've been doing it for 20 years, and you say that you're still positive about it, which is wonderful. But what motivates you? Are there some success stories that you have that you can share?
Absolutely. So I think I do hang on to those successes. I do see those every day. So amidst the challenges, there's, the simple things of someone feeling like someone believes in them again. Someone getting a promotion at a job when they, a year ago couldn't get out of bed for months because they're just had so many challenges they were facing. Youth getting connected to services saying, hey, I'm a little worried I maybe am being abusive to someone and I don't want to be. And then being able to be connected to change. So it just goes full circle.
So not just the person being abused in the relationship, but somebody who feels that maybe they're controlling somebody or needs some help, they can reach out to you as well.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. And in White Bear Lake, we always call you before we even leave a house where there's been some sort of domestic situation. And so it's nice to be able to have you folks have contact with people right away. Do you find that that is beneficial, or do you have other communities where they don't do that?
It's very beneficial. So I think law enforcement plays such a great role in being a community connector, and the fact that you care about that and that can be a comfortable presence to support a person who has experienced domestic violence and the broad impact, it definitely makes a difference to have those close connections and partnerships. And I'm excited about all the further opportunities we have with that as well. Yeah. We actually have a lot of young people that are interested at times in being a law enforcement officer because they've been through experiences with domestic violence.
Very good to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
More applications for you, right?
Yes. No, we need more. We need more good people. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
For more information, go to tubman.org.
Sergeant Betty has some Halloween safety tips as we go to break.
Halloween is a fall hallmark for children and families, so let's make sure we follow some simple common sense tips to keep everyone safe. Parents should accompany their children trick-or-treating. If your kids are older, know what route they're taking and make sure they check in. Talk to your teenagers about drinking and driving. And for adults, plan for a sober ride if you're celebrating the holiday. According to the Office of Traffic Safety, Halloween weekends are among the deadliest for impaired driving. Typically, there's extra enforcement on our roads. If you're allowing your teenagers to host a party, be aware of underage drinkers. And for adults hosting parties, be sure to keep alcohol away from kids and pets. I'm Sergeant John Vetty, wishing everyone a safe and happy Halloween.
The White Bear Lake Fire Department keeps its skills sharp by training regularly, and there's nothing like putting all that training into action.
On a warm and windy evening, the White Bear Lake Fire Department, along with Maplewood and Lino Lakes, suited up and fought house fires, and our production crew was there to capture the heat.
Staff is notified. They were going to notify the state patrol. As far as the ritual goes, what do you mean? Not everything's bigger.
You can sense, like, if you don't move for a specific period of time, it'll chirp to a point where it'll go into alarm, like, hey, someone come look at me, kind of deal. So a lot of stuff built into it, you know, dynamic system. I mean, it's 2019, what would you expect? You know?
All three in, all three out. It's about safety all the time.
It's good. I think it's good training. Everyone enjoys it. It's just a lot of work that goes into it. So it's good stuff. But back in we go.
Fire stack, 5 back up, 7
So really all we're looking for is what we're training on is, you know, the hose movement getting into the house and applying water. So just making sure that our team is working good together and advancing that hose to the fire.
I don't know, that's about it. What they do, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's interesting, what they do inside there, what they have to do, how they have to watch themselves. I was thinking once it gets filled with smoke, it's got to be pretty tricky in there, I think.
I wouldn't get that close. That window will break out.
It's excellent training to be able to do these. So we're thankful that when they donate, not all structures that are offered to us are, you know, in a good spot. Out here it's kind of wide open and nothing's too close, but we do appreciate it. Not every department gets to do this, so we're pretty fortunate.
That one's open.
You train and train and train, and when you actually get to practice the skills that you've trained for, it's a big deal. So all of us that are involved in medical care, that's the majority of what we do. And so, you know, that small, narrow window of opportunity to do firefighting, people really enjoy it. The successful training event went off without too many issues. A lot of planning went into it, so it went really smooth the night of.
And everybody was able to do whatever, because I know you had a lot of people there, a lot of crews.
Yeah, a lot of different people, and they just kept rotating through different roles, so it was a lot of work, but the crews enjoyed it, and it was a benefit to everyone who attended. So.
Yeah, it's nice that you got a chance to do that. You had some houses to take down, so that was good.
Absolutely, doing our part. Officer John Sanders spoke with us this summer, just as the department was starting its crosswalk safety campaign.
The results are in, and he's here to talk about those, as well as some other fall safety topics. John, thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
So now the results are in for this crosswalk enforcement that you had this summer, and what were those results?
So the White Bear Lake Police Department did 5 campaign initiatives for crosswalk enforcement. We went to various crosswalks throughout the city, and we stopped 107 cars over those 5 dates, and we issued 90 citations for violators who failed to stop for the pedestrians in the marked crosswalk.
And the people that got off without a warning, or with just a warning and not a ticket, was there a reason for that, or?
Yep, there was a couple of times where there were close calls, but it wasn't an egregious violation, so we felt the warning was appropriate. There was a couple other violations mixed in, some speeding violations, a couple seatbelt violations. We located a missing person on one of the events, and so that's where some of the other numbers come in, or maybe some of the warnings that were issued during the event. There's 2 things of note from the campaign over the summer. One is, unfortunately, we had the same driver commit the violation twice. They were cited twice for failing to stop for a pedestrian in a crosswalk.
Same day?
2 different days.
2 different days. Wow.
2 violations, so not good. But on a positive note, we did have one intersection, 9th and Bald Eagle, right by Central Middle School there, where we did an enforcement effort for an hour, and every single vehicle stopped for the pedestrians. We had 100% compliance.
Wow, that's great. And for anybody who doesn't know, there's 2 schools and there's some afternoon activities and stuff, so there's a lot of foot traffic that goes in that crosswalk.
Yep, we were happy with those results.
Yeah. And then we're talking about school. Kids are back to school. Now, how can kids be safe going back to school, riding the bus, and how can our drivers? What can our drivers do?
Sure, so kids are going to want to remember to get to the bus stop early. Allow yourself a couple extra minutes so that you're not rushing to try to catch the bus as it's pulling away. You're going to want to stand on the on the curb line and not in the roadway where it's safer to wait for the bus. And then when the bus does arrive, wait for all the flashing lights to activate. Safely get on, quickly pick a seat, remain seated the entire time until you reach your destination or the school. And then when it's your stop, stand up when the bus comes to a complete stop. Exit the school bus. If you do need to cross the road, wait for the crossing arms to extend. Get the driver's attention. They'll flag you across when it's safe to do so. Obviously, look both ways before you do cross, and just make sure you get across safely.
And that's whether you're getting on the bus or getting off. Yep. Make sure you're looking. You need to be responsible too, because not all drivers are paying attention, unfortunately. Exactly. Right?
Exactly. And if you are a driver and you see a school bus, give them some distance, come to a complete stop, wait until those cross arms are completely turned off before you proceed through.
Halloween, my season is starting. Kids will be trick-or-treating. There's going to be a lot of kids running around, and they might be in dark clothing, and there might be some antics going on with kids.
There will be. There will be lots of kids.
So what do kids and other drivers need to be worried about?
So for the kids and parents especially, try to have your kid pick a costume where there's not many vision obstructions so they can see out of the mask if there is one, and that they have a little bit more visibility. Walk in groups, get your friends together. A larger group's easier to see than one individual kid. Try to have someone in your group, whether it's a parent or a friend, wear brightly colored clothing or reflective vest, carry a flashlight, and try to stay out of the middle of the road. Walk on the side of the road where it's safer. And if you're a driver, be aware that it's Halloween. There's likely going to be kids on every street, on every corner. Go slower, give them a little bit more distance, and put your cell phones down. Pay attention, and it'll be a safe night for everyone.
And Halloween's also a big night for parties for everyone. Is there going to be any extra DWI enforcement?
There will be. It's a mandatory event night, so there will be a countywide enforcement effort, so plan a sober ride.
It's not a secret, so we want them to know we're out. So don't drink and drive.
That's right. Be safe.
Right. And then speed and failing to wear seatbelts are big factors in deadly crashes. So any thoughts on why people aren't wearing their seatbelts?
Well, surprisingly, there are a lot of people that do wear seatbelts. The numbers are up. A 2018 June study, the Office of Traffic Safety discovered that there's 92.4% on average compliance. So that means only 7.6% of the population isn't wearing their seatbelt. And to put it into numbers, The state estimates in 2018 there's 5.611 million people, and so that 7.6% would be just over 426,000 people that are not wearing their seatbelt. The numbers are high still because that's 426,000 people, but comparatively speaking, we're doing good on the state's level.
Yeah, 92% sounds really good, but when you start talking about their actual people, over 400,000, it's a lot of people that we don't need their lives lost because they're not wearing a seatbelt.
And unfortunately in 2018, 96 people did lose their life because they weren't wearing a seatbelt in an accident. So let's try to get to 100% compliance.
Right. Well, thanks, John. We appreciate you coming.
And thank you for everything that you do, for all the extra enforcement that you do and educating our public.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Coming up after the break.
We take you inside an operation with a rich history.
At just about any community event, big or small, Grandma's Bakery can always be counted on for contributing baked goods.
They recently baked 1,200 cupcakes for the benefit America is Beautiful. So we wondered how much time goes into such an operation.
Producer Mary Klein and photographer Nick Anderson went inside Grandma's to find out what goes into running this local and legendary bakery.
This is beyond what my expectations were, I think, at the beginning. Yeah. It's been a lot more fun than I thought. It's been a lot harder than I thought. A lot more rewarding than I thought.
For more than 4 decades, Grandma's Bakery has been building a reputation as a premier baker and generous donor.
So the basic process starts with mixing things.
Owner John Lupo began his business at a boarded-up Mr. Donut on the east side of St. Paul in 1978. Realizing he couldn't make it on donuts alone,
It's quite a blast of heat, though. You'll feel it.
he expanded into a bakery, moving to White Bear Lake in 1992, continuing to expand this space on Berkeley Road, and adding a downtown location in 2008.
When you're dealing with the flag, you got to be very careful.
Lupo, known for his generosity, has supported many causes, most recently making a flag for the event America is Beautiful, using more than 1,200 cupcakes and putting in a full day's work to plan, prepare, deliver, and assemble the flag to benefit troops serving overseas.
It's because of those guys that we are here living the dream, and so we can donate some time and some cupcakes to make their day feel like Christmas in the middle of August or September. And I thought, that's pretty cool. I'm happy to do that.
Lupo, who's the president of the Retail Bakers of America, is also the founder of National Bakery Day, falling every year on September 27th.
Small bakeries, or independent bakeries, are usually small businesses, family run. We employ a lot of people. We are there for breakfast, lunch, dinner, every occasion, every celebration. The bakery is a part of that. We are a very important part of the fabric of our community. We are generous to a fault. National Bakery Day is a day to celebrate that.
We'll probably do a dozen, 15 different bread types every day.
Over 100 employees operate the 2 stores and the wholesale baking operation, delivering to over 300 companies, including Surly Brewing and U.S. Bank Stadium. Lupo credits his can-do attitude and work ethic to Grandma's longevity and growth, and his ability to put things into perspective. But in the end, it's his love of the job that's kept him working 24/7, including holidays, for 41 years.
I hope to be a part of this for the rest of my life, and I hope it happens. I love it. I love what I do.
And we know it's almost fall. Do you have any fall traditions?
Yeah, we like to take the kids out to the pumpkin patch and do our pumpkin carving, and we usually invite friends over for all that.
That's fun.
What about you?
We also go to a pumpkin patch and we go to the apple orchard and get a bunch of stuff and start eating.
Yeah, it's a good time of year for that.
It's the season to eat.
And we know you love Halloween. Do you have your costume picked out?
I don't have my costume picked out this
Oh.
year. My son was going to be a DJ, so I asked him if he wanted me to be some sort of a DJ or have some flashing lights at our house. He didn't.
No?
No.
What can we expect at your house this year?
Scary. He wants it to be scary. He wants me to step up the scary, so all right.
It should be fun.
That wraps up this edition of Lake Area Beat.
I'm Kurt Friesen.
And I'm Tracy Minarchik. We'll see you next time. We nailed it.
You might pass out.
Oh my gosh, barely.
Yeah.
I know, I was like,
She gave me the time crunch. She gave me the sign.
Can I ask you something personal? Sure. What kind of perfume are you wearing?
Eternity.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's my fragrance. Yeah.
I used to wear that, and I was thinking to myself, this is a familiar scent to me.
Well, because it's not overpowering, I can wear it anywhere, and people don't go.
Yeah, that's too much. No, I like it.
The boat's coming in and everything. Look at that.
I didn't even get a warning or counseling note or anything.
As a girlfriend,
I've had 12 glasses of wine. Is that inappropriate?
Is that on?
It's probably on.
you sound like my kind of girl.
Yeah. Sorry, honey.
Everybody's standing here waiting.
I'm supposed to be talking.
Stop looking at me.
There's a lot of traffic. I get distracted
Squirrel.
easy.
There was actually a squirrel over there.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. He's going up the tree.
Oh, see?
End of the tree line.
So it does make sense.
Squirrel.
Oh.
If that's what you were going to ask me.
Yeah, it was. Round 3.
What is it? People have to see fires,
Sure.
right?
Yeah. As long as it isn't ours. You know, we didn't see it.